Now, as far as you and Ralphus, how did that come about?
Oh, Ralphus, God bless him, good old Ralphus. Uh, he was teamed up with Jericho originally,
Right.
and that's when I feel when he was paired up with me. I feel that at that stage the company was really getting desperate, and they were just pulling at straws and anything that had the potential to click and be a success. So with the screaming character that I had, they decided to put him with me again. But the one difference was that didn't happen with Jericho was that he was getting involved in the matches.
Now, who was he? He was a truck driver?
He was a truck driver,
right.
Yeah, from Orlando. Sweetheart of a guy. All the best intentions in the world, but he wasn't a wrestler. He had no athletic background,
right.
No wrestling background. Wasn't in the best of shape.
Right.
Wasn't the youngest guy in the world. And he got involved in some matches, and there was a point where I told Nick Patrick that I feared for his life because he was getting involved in these matches where he actually had to take hits with chairs and garbage cans, and I remember Terry Funk was just knocking the dog shit out of him, and poor Ralphus has got welts on his back, he's got bruises, got blood coming out of it, just beating the hell out of him. But it was fun working with him, but I was concerned for him. I really was.
Now, at the time, at the time of this, was the locker room very divided politically at the time?
As far in what aspect?
As with the Bischoff leaving and then Russo coming in.
Yes, because there were certain guys who were influenced a lot by Eric Bischoff, and everybody felt that there would always be a day that Eric Bischoff would come back. So there were a lot of guys who didn't want to, stain the name of Eric Bischoff with the thought that eventually he may come back. And there were a lot of guys that didn't really want to side with Vince Russo, thinking that in the future, as I said, Bischoff would come back, and I was like, hey, well, now you're with him, and so on and so forth. So I do believe at one time that there was even a petition. I'm not sure if it was to keep Russo out or keep Eric out or something.
Let's keep Bischoff out.
Bischoff out, yeah.
I think Conan actually started it.
Yeah, Conan. Well, as I said, he speaks his mind. He's ambitious, and he does what he feels right. But yeah, it was divided because a lot of the guys, the older guys, maybe who felt that their positions were being threatened, who wasn't getting as much publicity as they were accustomed to getting, because Vince saw that there was talent and potential in a lot of the younger guys, felt threatened, I guess, and they sided with Eric, and they wanted Eric back.
Now, when he came back, what was the vibe of the locker room with the boys? Did they think it was going to work? Because it was basically Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff working together, supposedly.
Well, that was like it was like okay, you got the best of the best. You had the best from last year, and you got the best of this year, and now they're collaborating together. It's a combination of both. And it was in Denver, I believe it was, in Colorado, I think, and I was excited because they asked us all to bring our Sunday best and bring ties and shoes and everything, and we had this big presentation in the ring, and they announced that they were going to do this new thing. It was going to be a joint venture with Bischoff and Russo, and they were going to let bygones be bygones. But I guess right off the bat, they started bumping heads. And the whole angle with the New Blood and the Millionaires Club, it didn't work.
It was backwards, basically.
Yeah. It didn't work.
You talked about Terry Funk. What was it like to work with a legend like Terry?
Oh, it was an honor because for many, many weeks as I was a child in Miami Beach growing up there, I would attend the wrestling functions every Wednesday night at the Miami Beach Convention Center.
Right.
And watching guys like Sweet Brown Sugar and Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes and Barry Windham, all those guys wrestle. At that time, I never thought in a million years that I'd even get to meet Terry Funk, let alone have the honor of working with him. And I mean, he's a man that you have to admire and respect because for all the years that he's had in the business, he's still driven to try new moves. I think he tried the moonsault when he was 53 or something.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling, right?
Crazy. It's crazy, but he gives 100% each night. He's as tough as nails, gives as good as he gets, doesn't complain. And I mean, he's a wrestler's wrestler, old school.
What are your memories of working with 3 Count?
3 Count. I had fun with those guys, and I always felt that they had a lot of potential. And I felt that the guy that had the best potential once the company was taken over, and they all went up there with the WWF was Evan Courageous.
Right.
Even though Shannon and Shane were the better workers, I just felt that Evan had that model look, good looking guy and great physique. I ain't no fag or anything like that. But you know, he just a good looking guy. And it turns out that he wasn't even given a chance. I mean, they had him in a developmental territory, but unless you put him in front of a live crowd in the WWF environment, you never know what can happen. Nobody knows what the chemistry is for a successful wrestler in this business. Because if we did, we'd have 100 Rocks, we'd have 100 Goldbergs, we'd have 100 Stone Cold Steve Austins. You just put somebody out there, and if they click, they click, and if they don't, you know it's not a success.
What about working with Fit Finley? What was he like to work with?
Fit Finley, I've got a special group. Fit Finley and Chris Benoit. I have so much respect for them, but not as wrestlers as men, because they're just a different breed of men that what is usually the norm in wrestling. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Fit, and learned a lot from him. He's one of those guys where doing that submission style wrestling, and I guess unless you've actually wrestled that style and done professional stuff, it's hard to explain. But wrestling Fit, you can actually feel the shoot in him, because he's the real deal. I mean, right. he's from the old school, and you just know it. Anytime he wanted to, he could snap your arm, and there's nothing you could do about it. You know, and he helped me a lot. He showed me that in this business, especially working certain matches, that less is more. You don't have to hit a guy 100 times in order to get a reaction. And he was one of those guys. I was always impressed with the fact that he could finish a match and would never be tired. Wouldn't even breathe hard, because he would pace himself. And he says, Norman, you know, you guys go out there and you want to do 100 moves in the first five minutes, where he would just pace himself, and he knew how to tell a story, to build a match up. And he's just in a class by himself. He doesn't have the array or arsenal of impressive moves like a Juventud Guerrero or Rey Mysterio. But I would say he's one of the best wrestlers, the top 3 wrestlers I've ever wrestled.
How about working with Lex Luger? You're talking about top wrestlers.
Lex Luger. I started more or less the same time with Lex in Florida.
Right.
And one night, I guess it was a little over a year ago, I went to a Thunder, and saw my name was Norman Smiley versus Lex Luger. Oh, Jesus. This is going to be everything that he wants to do, you know. Because I know that Lex can be difficult at times. With me, he's always been very nice and courteous. You know, we say hello. And to my surprise, the night that I went to his locker room, because he was getting changed in a different room, and went over to him, and basically in the back of my mind thinking, this guy's not going to do shit.
Right.
I'm just, you know, Norman's going to be this, and I'm going to rack you. Basically asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, no, Lex, what do you want to do? Because, you know, I knew that I could adapt easier to his style than he could to mine. So, you know, I said, no, whatever you want to do. So I called a couple of spots and everything. All the time thinking, you know, when can I squeeze the wiggle in there? And I just said to Lex, okay, if I can give you that scoop slam I do and get it, brother, whatever you want. I was like, and Buff was getting changed next to him, and Buff was like, even Buff gave him the glance. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? And to my surprise, he did it. He was a professional in the ring. Everything he said he would do, he did. And in fact, I was just on tour in Australia with Buff, and we were talking. He told me that Sting called him and asked him who gave the okay for Norman Smiley to do the wiggle on Lex, because he said he watched it and he thought it was the funniest thing, because he knows the way Lex is. Right. So he just thought it was the most hilarious thing that he's ever seen. Lex just draped over there and taking it in the ass.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.